This is it.
Welcome to episode 1 of the Recollection podcast. I'm AJ. This is
James, and we were doing a bit of a Grand Archive and Flesh and Blood coverage, but then we took a break. I will take the blame for that because we were doing the print and play decks for Grand Archive for a while, and then I believe that was in January, and then I started getting very impatient because I really wanted the game to come out.
Right.
And I'm not blaming Weaves of the Shore on this. I think it was just with like the distribution company they had, but it's coming next week. And then that was in February, and then it was coming next week.
Good old next week.
Yeah. And
I got banned from your channel for
yes, no, I couldn't take it anymore. Even though like everyone started doing it. But then it was end of February. And then I think the first week of March, or like that very first week of March, we finally got the tracking for it. Mm-hmm. They, at least Matt's shipment, his Kickstarter shipment had the wrong address on it.
Oof.
So then I think that was UPS. They messed that up. But then everything got fixed. And then finally this past weekend we were able to play with actual decks that people put together. And we
had our first locals.
Yeah. Which I was expecting. All right, on the optimistic side, I was expecting like 12. We had 18 people.
I was expecting. Honestly, I was expecting like 6 people, and like 4 of them my friends, like
okay,
people I brought.
Fair.
But no, we had 18. I remember walking in. I was going like, "Hey, I'm here for Grand Archive. I want to pay. It's our first locals." It's like, "Oh, that makes you 17." And I was like, 17.
Were you talking to Grantley?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, that makes you number 17, so that's 5 rounds." And I was like,
mm-hmm.
"What?"
Oh yeah. No, and there were a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh players, which I think made it seem like, oh, they must be playing like.
That's
Yu-Gi-Oh
what I thought.
Or whatever.
There was Yu-Gi-Oh, and then we had the Flesh and Blood midnight thing going on.
So. Oh, the team event. That's right.
So there was like 3 events going on at once. There's a little obfuscation to tell like who was there for what. But it turns out there's a lot of people there for Grand Archive.
Yes.
And
yeah.
No, I had a lot of fun. I went 2-1 that day. I know you went 1 and kind of 1. You had to take care of some other business.
Yeah.
But store owner life. But yeah, I went 2-1. I was on a jank water luring deck. I kind of said this in the Discord where I built the deck, and it was basically like most people, which I said I'm gonna miss this power level because it's kind of fun that like.
I think I saw that you said that on Discord or
on the
Grand Archive thing. Yeah.
On the Grand Archive Discord because and shout out to them, they reposted my picture that I posted. It was awesome. Yeah. But I basically said I'm gonna miss this power level because basically everyone had like the structure deck and a box. It's kind of like where it was.
Yeah.
And some more than others. Some people did buy singles, but to try to get their decks up to where they want it to be, but a lot of people didn't, so it was kind of like this fun, like almost like pseudo sealed environment where it was like
it seemed like people had a starter and then their little flavor to it. They're playing, it certainly seemed like people they had a deck in mind, but there's just certain cards, like I don't have the Grand Crusaders ring, and I'm like, no. I wish I had that. Yeah. Because a lot of the material thing I've noticed, you want card draw and card advantage. You want to be able to just go, I'm playing this for 0, draw a card, and get ahead of your opponent.
Right. The one round I lost was definitely because I just kind of ran out of steam. I had an insole in my hand, like the Spirit Blade insole or whatever, the big finisher, 6 cost. Oh, yeah. Make all your weapons, grab all your weapons from your banishment and your material zone, or your material deck, and bring them onto the field, and they become creatures.
Is that where it's like raining swords?
Yeah, she's like...
Yeah, it's just like swords everywhere. Okay,
yeah, and I had that card, but I only had like 4 available cards to put in memory to pay the memory cost. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't play it, and so I never was like able to like end that game. I was just like in this grindy matchup, but I feel like if I had like Grand Crusader ring, maybe some other more draw efficient card or something, I could like have gotten there a turn earlier and kind of won the game. So but no, it was good. I think it was like a lot of fun. Everyone had a good time, even people who were losing. I think people were just excited to play, and I think this game has a really bright future. A lot of our friends who I did not think would even think of playing this game are like
absolutely
all all in. And so yeah, that was our kind of our first locals, and I think Thursday's going forward, right?
Yeah,
So far.
So the plan right now is Thursdays we'll do your standard locals. Sunday originally was going to be like a extension to that, but I think I've had multiple people reach out and they're just like, can Sunday just be like a more casual, free for all sort of thing? And like with everything, we'll test it. We'll see how people respond to it. A big thing I noticed, because there were more cards available for this since we opened boxes, was starting your game and being able to have floating memory available. Like I forgot the name of the card, but it's like when she comes on the field, you may discard a card and then draw a card. If you can just discard floating memory,
the fire. A fire is hasty something. Hasty messenger. Hasty messenger.
Being able to go into level 1 with floating memory just feels amazing because you're already just like cruising on a smooth transition.
That's what I realized. A lot of the water cards, they let you target a player.
Yeah.
And funny enough, I was like, oh, there's not enough mill to make this good. And then someone explained to me, like, no, you don't mill the other player. You're not trying to mill them out. You're milling yourself that you're hoping to hit floating memory.
Oh, yeah?
So that you get floating memory basically for free in your grave. And I was like, that's mind-blowing. I was like, and yeah, floating memory is insanely important.
Well, imagine looks like you mill 2 and you're like, well, that's not that much, but you get 2 floating memory. To hit level 2,
you drew 2 cards.
Like, yeah.
You basically drew 2 cards because that's 2 cards you would have lost in your memory. So it's nuts. It's really good. Yeah. It's random though. I mean, I don't think there's too many ways to manipulate the top of the deck right now to make sure there's floating memory.
No, there's like Scry the Skies maybe, but
true.
That's like a very specific lineup.
Yeah, and it takes... Well, also I did see... It's another card that's floating memory. It's like the map looking thing. I don't remember the name of it.
Yeah, it's colorless, I think.
It's a normal. And you look at the top 4 cards and you can like put them back in any order, but then that card itself has floating memory, so... No, I think this game has a bright future ahead of it. I was a little on the fence for a little bit just because, there were so many delays and everything. Yep. But it's funny, every time I played the game outside of the very first time we played the game, I was like, this game's really good. I really recruited a lot of our friends like to at least try it. Similar to Flesh and Blood, like, I don't know, I'm just like a community.
No, it's a good... When AJ was in the character creation, there was like paving the way was like a passive talent they gave you. So
it's like persuasiveness, and a level 8 or something.
And I don't know. At the beginning, I had this weird feeling where people are gonna be like, "Oh, it's kind of wonky. Like the memory system is weird."
It's a little wonky when you first play it, for sure. But you get it in.
Yeah, as soon as it clicks. People had a really good reception to that. But at the locals, everyone got to crack packs. It's interesting seeing people pull. It doesn't matter what card it is. They see something shiny, and they're like, "Oh, awesome! I got like a foil." And you're just, I'm not. I'm sure you aren't either. Not used to hearing that.
No, the card can be completely unplayable. Not that every card's like. It's just a card that either it's unplayable to them because it doesn't go in their deck, or it's like a common that you're like, okay, well, like a foil common though. They're just like, holy crap, a foil common.
What was in my pack?
You have the fire guy. I saw that.
Yeah,
too.
like this is a common. Again, I think all the foils look amazing, but like this is like I can trade this. There is a Rye player, or actually you can use that with any character that's fire. Even if you have no interest in it. Someone is looking for a foil because with only 3 foils in a box, if you're specifically looking for that, it's going to be a little difficult. That's something that when we were all opening our boxes that I think a lot of people were thrown off about. I don't want to use the word disappointment, but when you open the box...
If you come from other games...
Yeah.
And most of the games put a foil in the pack. I think that originally started because it helps for weighing packs. So if every pack has a foil, then it's much more difficult to find like a foil pack, right? But one side effect of that is that now opening just a foil of most things is kind of like, nah. You're like, all right, well, I got a foil common, foil common, foil common. Then every once in a while you're like foil, super rare, majestic, mythic, whichever game you're playing. Those are nice. Usually those are more rare. But as far as like the foil commons and uncommons, you're just like, chuck it away.
Yeah, it's just a different form of bulk at that point. I think the other thing, again, it wasn't like a huge negative, but I think everybody was going, I want the collector rare. I want the signature. And when you didn't get it, you were like, oh, well, that was my shot. And then someone on Discord is like, I got 69 out of 70. And you're just like, oh, that's $2,000. Okay.
Yeah.
But I do know that
there is a world where maybe, I don't know, it's something that Weebs is going to have to navigate. I do think there is a world where you make things too rare and you kind of make it to where people don't even try. It's like, oh, what's the point? Like...
Yeah.
Like...
No, I understand absolutely. The Cloud card recently in Final Fantasy, that's like 1 in... They're saying the ratio is 1 in 4 to 6 master cases, which is 48 to 60 boxes, and it's like, do you even chase it at that point instead of just like maxing your credit card and just going, well, it's done. Like, I don't have to gamble anymore. No, that's a very sensitive thing that they're going to have to do carefully. So.
I will say I'm okay with it for collector pieces, right? I think they've done a very good job of navigating that, where I think for as long as like super rares and your ultra rare per box, you get 1 per box. So as long as you open like, what was the case in Grand Archive? Is 6 boxes?
6 is
so if you open a case, you're going to get 6 ultra rares. You probably double up on a couple, then you trade the ones that you doubled up on for the ones that you need, and you're kind of good to go, right? At least for ultra rares, because they're 1 per box. And there's only 5 of them, I think, and you only need 1 ever, right? It's not like a play set.
Right.
So it's like the tome, the crest in Crux, the play off the top of the deck, Terra one, and of course Grand Crusader ring.
Yep.
So that's why I think if Grand Crusader ring was if let's say you got like 1.5 ultra rares per box, kind of like Legends and Flesh and Blood. I think you would see like Grand Crusader's ring be like a $200 card.
I am 100% in that Grand Crusader's ring is Tunic. It's like a very you just gain resources.
It's like ubiquitous. Yeah.
I can't see not for the first few sets. I can't see someone being like, I don't have room for that.
The only thing I'll say, it has a keyword where you can only have, I think it's like Divine Relic. So there always could be a more defining Divine Relic for your deck.
Oh, yeah.
And so you can't have Grand Crusader's ring and another Divine Relic in your material deck.
So do you think maybe there'll be like 1 new Divine Relic every set?
I think that'd be really cool. It's kind of like the Fabled. I'm come from Flesh and Blood mainly, so that's where a lot of my comparisons come from. So that's where I say like I think the Fable is very close to like Divine Relic. The only difference is a Fable in Flesh and Blood is like 1 in 40 boxes, which is wild. Like, and luckily only like 2 of them are playable, but that has skyrocketed the price of those cards. Yeah. But we'll just have to see. But to your point, I think that's kind of at least from a gameplay perspective, that's almost like the same thing, right? So it's like I can only have, well, not really, because you can have as many Fables. You have as many different Fables as you want. Divine Relic is specific. Like, you can only have 1 Divine Relic. Right. It's almost like if anyone here listens to or plays Pokemon, and you played it when I was younger, like there was something called A-Spec trainers. Okay. And you can only have 1 A-Spec trainer in your deck. And there was like 20 to pick from, but you couldn't like have 1 of each. It was just like 1 A-Spec trainer. Okay. But yeah,
that's like a good comparison to it. So, trying to think. Other than that, the matches, it was nice just seeing everyone. You had some people who had clearly gotten some games before the pre-release, or not the pre-release, like our first locals. But everyone had a great time. I made some big mistakes where I think I told you the sword reflection thing. There were times where
it's free.
Yeah, I could have saved someone, and I'm like, but this is the only card in my hand. I need something else to like put in memory to play it. Meanwhile, I could have easily won because that would have saved the Banner Knight. That would have wasted his resources and blah blah blah. But like, no, that's why we got to play more and do all that. And it was nice seeing water cards being played.
I was playing Water Luring.
Right. I haven't interacted with water cards yet. I think my only thing is, and I think other people have been agreeing with me, is that Tamer needs a little help.
Yeah, people haven't figured it out yet, or it also just might be that the power level of Lorraine and Rye right now feel really strong.
Yeah.
Especially like the Erupting Rye. So that was played against me. I did happen to beat it just because they didn't find like the combo fast enough. But just watching it play, I was like, this deck feels really efficient. Feels really consistent in what it was doing. I was just able to spam the board more than he was able to clear it. So yeah, I don't know. That deck feels really silly.
Oh, the Erupting.
Yeah,
right,
it's like really good. And yeah, I would say that seeing those decks play out was like really fun.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
There was someone who did get like literally melted by that deck. It was in like 4 turns, and he was like, "What am I supposed to do about that?" And I'm like, "It's just one of those decks that you need to be aware of it, so that coming in, you can
tech against it,
right.
play against it." I don't know what we have other than I know water has water barrier, but really I don't know what a lot of decks have to. Like,
no, I think you have to hope that you can water barrier or do whatever to negate those plays, and then they kind of run out of ammo, and you're like, all right, now I can come back at you. But that's a very tight matchup. Like,
well, I know Alter. They're saying there's a one costed. I do not remember. It's like nullifying something. There's a one costed Regalia. It comes in and it says all cards in graveyards lose their attributes or types, however they call it. They're all normal type. So that would kill Erupting Rye. The only problem is they have 2 cards in fire that kill Regalia.
Yeah.
So like even if you tech that card in, hoping to slow that matchup down, they just kill it, and then that's your one Regalia that you get to use, and then that tech is gone.
And I know Lorraine has some of it, but I don't think there's too much recursion where it's like we'll just put it back in play. I think Lorraine's the only one that has that. Because she can like resummon swords that are banished or whatever. I don't know. Get good. People are gonna have to test and play, and I mean we see this in every card game. There's always a deck that comes along, blows people out, and then 2 months later or even 1 month later, they're like, I can't believe I lost to that. You just do this, and
right. Yeah, no, I agree. And the only thing I'm worried about is if the answer is to just go faster than it, then the game becomes really fast already.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think Fire Lorraine goes really fast. Like the full power Fire Lorraines that we've seen. I think when those decks start getting built, which I already know a few people, I think, are like fire. You lose
I want to, but there's just certain cards I'm missing, and I mean, it is what it is, but like the market's just like, oh, you want that you are, or this card, it's like $55, and I'm like, no, I'll wait for Altered and like balance it out a little bit. But yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, no, we had a great time looking forward to the next locals, and we'll just keep updating and talking about how, at least from our locals, how the scene is looking, and deck. Maybe we'll get deck lists soon or something like that if locals want to do that. But
that'd be cool, and maybe even record some gameplay and get that up on the channel as well.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Definitely
want to do that. Let's talk about just like the product itself, though. Like, how do you feel about the way they're doing boxes? I know we have Alter, which will be a little different, but I think the boxes themselves are kind of the same with like the new arts. Yeah, maybe like 5 new cards. But
as far as reactions from the customers and me opening my own box, whatever, I think the product itself looks amazing. I really like the art. It's I really like the starters, how they did that. It was a not really a complaint, but constructive criticism thing was just kind of how there are some cards you get that have the Kickstarter logo on it.
Yes.
And the rest of the cards don't, and it confused everybody. They're like, why don't all the cards have Kickstarter on
that
it?
Is honestly, that is one thing I was very confused about.
Yeah.
Like, I opened my Kickstarter box. It has
the logo on the box.
On the box, but none of the cards in the box have the Kickstarter logo, just the Prelude packs. So I'm not super worried about it. You can still tell they're Kickstarter packs just from cards from the set code at the bottom.
Yep.
And of course the different arts for a lot of the cards. And of course if you pull a collector rare, then it's very clear that it's just from that box. But yeah, I don't know. I it's not something I'm super worried about, but it was like an odd choice, it felt like.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think I can tell, like, even from just my trade binder, people can look at the card and immediately go, that's a Kickstarter card because there's a large K on it, and that means it was like adopted early.
Yeah.
Having to look at the little tiny code at the corner,
it's like lesser, right?
Yeah,
it's like...
it kind of takes away from it. We were just talking about this. Okay, the booster packs. A lot of us, including myself, did not have a good time. We were trying to be very careful because it's first edition packs and it's a new game, and the pull tab goes about a quarter of the way and then just like stops,
or like
it just rips and
off.
You're like, okay, so now I have to
like stretch it out.
Yeah, I have to use little, go like this. The pull tab I feel like should just either go all the way or have something like a strip on top that goes horizontal. We had people like Hulk Hoganing their packs to rip them open. It just, I don't know. It just was weird. A lot of packs, like you said, they just ripped early and then we had to kind of mangle them. I don't know how other people out there, how their pack openings went. Some people brought out scissors, which terrifies me just because if something slips and you cut something, but I don't know. That was like my only negative thing. Other than that, the cards feel great. The quality of the card backs and all that.
Very good. I do like the slight embossing on the back of the card. They're a little raised. The card quality is very good. I don't think I've seen foils curl. I don't even know if they can curl because it's a much more rigid card. Mm-hmm. I'm sure they can if you try hard enough, but it doesn't look like you're going to curl naturally over time. The art pops. The borders are clean. The text is clean. I think they did a very good job templating the card. The only, and this is like the nitpick of all nitpicks, all right. Very small.
I like those. Right.
I don't like the symbol they used for durability on weapons. I don't know if it like very clearly kind of illustrates what it is. Like that it is durability. I don't even remember what the symbol actually is.
Now I'm trying to find what it was.
Which I not have a weapon.
Of course not.
No, of course not.
Is it like a little shield? I don't. Now I'm trying to remember what it was.
See that almost caters to my point is that you don't remember. So that is a fractional nitpick. It's so silly to even bring up, but
that's fine.
I remember when I was learning the game, that was like, oh, that's durability. Maybe I'm silly and I don't recognize the reference or even what the symbol is, but
no.
Other than that, attack is very clear. Health is a little heart, which is I love because it's like reminds me of like Zelda.
Yeah, and it's kind of JRPG-ish, whatever. No, I agree.
No, I think I've taught so many people how to play this game, and there's like a little trepidation. You're like, how do you pay for cards? And you're like, you put them in face down in front of you, and it's like, and then they're gone, and I'm like, no. Oh,
that would suck.
And then they're gone? No, you pick them back up at the beginning of your turn, but after you materialize, and they're like, what is that? And I was like, all right. I don't know. I'm pretty good at teaching the game, but that's usually like the hiccup we find.
Yeah, and I think you catch people when they're like planning out their play is they're like, so I have 5 cards. This will cost. I have to put 3 in memory, and then I want to play this other thing. So they put 3 in memory and play the card, and they're like, wait, I only have 1 card left now.
Yep.
Oh, I over. Oh, wait.
Yeah,
and I'm like.
Because I'll tell you this.
You gotta math it out.
I'll tell you this. A lot of times when I'm doing that, if I ever overpay or like I don't have enough resources, I'm forgetting to count the card.
Yes, that's playing. Absolutely.
Another mechanic that is, it's very simple, it's very clear, but it's so hard to like do right. Is the balance mechanic. So those are the cards where it says the cards in your hand equal the card in your memory or cards in your memory. And they get a bonus effect. I think Gildis is one, and I think there's an ice card that everything comes into play tapped, and it gains 3 life if you have balance.
Yeah, or else it's like a 1/1, and you're like...
Yeah, and then they just kill it.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but like I can usually get the first turn. I'm usually like, all right, first turn, play the card. I have 3 in memory, 3 in hand, good to go. It's a 3/4 or 4/3 or whatever it is, and then. Turn 2, I'm like, well, I want to play this and this, so that's going to make that terrible. Which I think is really cool. I think that's like it's one of those mechanics where I have agency over it. Like, I do have agency. I can choose to play less or more to try to make this work. but like if I can choose not to and be like, well, I'd rather do this play. It's fine. Yeah, I really like it.
Well, it was kind of funny because my first round, I mean, the guy was learning, and there were 2 times where he like did the math wrong. And he's like, oh, well, I guess I just get to play this one card. And I was like, no, you can take it back. But on the 3rd time, I was like, nope, you need to start like, you got to practice. And I mean, that's just like a fundamental thing for the game is adding up how much memory is going in, if you're going to draw, your card advantage and all that. The last thing I would just say about it is I've said this multiple times, every foil I think looks amazing. Every foil is very satisfying to look at.
They've done a really good job with the spot foiling. It's what it's called. So it's not just like a flat foil they just apply to the whole card, which we see in a lot of upstart games where it's like they want to have foils, right? So I think I don't want to just like crap on another game.
Absolutely do that. Yeah.
So Genesis. I don't know how anyone here feels about Genesis. I was lucky enough to be gifted a box once from someone, and I opened it, and I only got one foil, so they were going like the same route as Grand Archive a little bit, where they wanted to make foils special again. It was the worst foiling I've ever seen. Honestly, it was just a really dim, flat foil over the top of the whole card, and the card was like a Pringle. Worse than any Magic card you've ever seen. And,
we have a few stacks chilling somewhere, and
so I hope if that team is still trying to make Genesis into a thing, I hope they learn from that. But yeah, it was not good. It's nice to see a upstart game like Grand Archive and Weaves of the Shore do really well with their foiling. Their cards, I would not if you told me. This game was like out in Japan for like 10 years and it's just now coming to the States, I would believe you, just because like I think this is really good quality. I just like
Yes, it is. And just to piggyback on what you were saying, some games overfoil, but there's also some games where you pull a foil and the character's like shoelace is foiled and that's it, and you're kind of like
their eyes.
That's all I get.
They're like shiny.
Yeah. They just nailed it. Like you said, it also doesn't look like someone poured gasoline on it, where it just has that like rainbow smudge that's like all over it.
Sun and Moon era Pokemon. Has that. It's literally called oil foiling.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Maybe not but like that sort of weird haze or whatever. But no. Everyone who pulled foils, they just saw the shiny and they're just like, oh my god, I don't care what it is, but like I want to see it. And yeah, so I think we also want to talk about just going forward to Alt Edition. Art, of course, is subjective, but I think a lot of
I think like 95% of the arts are massively improved.
Yeah, I think they're way better. Again, some people think they're not, but like...
I mean, art's subjective, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to like it. Like, a lot of people have already fallen in love with Grand Crusader's ring, the way it looks now. I do kind of like the simplicity of it, where it's just like, it's the ring. Whereas the new Grand Crusader's ring is like, it's the ring.
Yeah. Isn't it like exploding with light?
It's like got light coming in it. It's like on a pedestal. It's like...
Yeah. There was, and of course, I'm probably going to name the card wrong, but there is something I saw. I don't think there's any other card like it. There is a card called like Explosive Trap or something.
Immolation Trap.
Okay. And he's stepping, and then the alt art shows like a different perspective
of like the same
of
thing.
It happening.
Yeah, it's like him getting hit by the immolation.
Right.
It's like unfortunate.
I think one's a boot.
Yeah.
And the other one's like the character. And I don't know if they're ever going to do like alt arts or whatever going forward, but showing different perspectives of the same card instead of just like a completely different thing could be really cool, because if you're collecting them, it's like here's one angle and then here's another angle. I know in some cards they just show like I think it's like the Thunder Tome. I know it's not called that, but like they have like an anime heroine or something holding it instead. That's pretty cool. I don't know. I'm excited to get those. There's a couple of new cards that don't even exist that are coming in alt set that I really want. Especially that one card you're talking about that like negates element.
Yep.
In the graveyard. No, I got 2 boxes for the Kickstarter. I wish I got 200 into, but
I mean, I I passed up on it, but at the time I was not doing too well, so I chose the
No, and
healthier
it's a Kickstarter thing. It doesn't matter who's doing it. It's kind of a gamble. Money was tight. I think that was like right during COVID. I think as well. Like
it was still kind of. I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But no, like you can't tell. But no, I think I'm gonna pick up a case. I want to try out a bunch of different decks. I'm looking forward to the alt arts, and there's the new. They're not like gold signature cards, but they have new signature.
I think
characters.
they're still gold.
Oh, are they? Or they're not like
the only difference is they're not
raised?
serialized.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's right.
so they're not numbered.
Okay.
Because it's like an unlimited run, right? So that is if we want to get into that just real quick, I personally am not the biggest fan of first edition anything anymore in card games. I feel like those kind of have run their course like in the 90s. I think we've moved on past first edition.
Okay.
However, Weeds of the Shore, I've kind of mentioned it in their Discord, and they kind of brought up a good point. Well, if you want to have serialized numbers, how do you do that without a first edition, right? Because eventually, if you're going to print the serialized amount, and then when you come back with it, well, that's no longer serialized, right? You've already printed them all. You can't print anymore. Mm-hmm. And so you've already pseudo-made a unlimited.
Oh, right.
Like, so
yeah.
I don't know what the answer to that would be. I just don't like where it feels like first edition is like kind of like pumped. You know what I mean?
Oh, like which unfortunately absolutely has been.
Well, Kickstarter, I'm Kickstarter was standing. I'm talking about future sets going forward.
Oh, okay.
Like where it's like planned that there's going to be a first edition and an unlimited. I feel like you could figure out a way to maybe like keep collectors rare really rare. Even do serialized numbers where maybe you just do a super huge print run. That's your print run for the set. I know that's really hard to gauge, and I'm no means am I an expert in logistics or sourcing and all that good stuff. But or maybe you just ditch serialized numbers. I don't know. I don't know the answer, but I just don't like first editions.
So you can probably explain it because I wasn't aware of this, which I should be considering we're selling it and buying it. But like, so when the next set comes out in August, is it releasing at the same time?
I don't believe so, and I don't think so. Again, if anyone's listening that knows better, please mention in the comments or something. But I believe the next set's an expansion set, and I believe they've said expansion sets, so like supplemental sets, don't have they don't have serialized cards already. Like there won't be a first and unlimited, but the set after that, the next core set, will. Okay. So that's where it's like, and I don't know if it's like first then unlimited. I would imagine it is because it's already hard enough, and this is just a real fact for trading card games. It's hard enough to get them to carry any product of yours. It's going to be really hard to get them to carry a intentionally inferior product. Okay. Which would be unlimited.
Yes. So, Weebs of the Shore devs, I am pleading with you. As you know, we have the Haven Games. And I'm sorry, Jasco, we literally dropped My Hero over it. They did a first edition release at the same time as Unlimited, and we ended up getting allocated like 90% of Unlimited, and all our customers looked at it and was basically like, we don't want this. It's garbage compared to like what we can pull out of the first edition. We got stuck with tons of product, and we dropped the game because not only financially is that a disaster, but it kind of makes the developing company, it's like a message to the stores going, we don't care. We're just shoveling product at you.
I mean, even Flesh and Blood has dropped Unlimited, right? Or dropped the first edition Unlimited split, right? I mean, that was a big deal. It's like when you start getting, dumped with like, unlimited boxes of. It's like we've already got the first edition products, right? So you're. I've never been a huge fan. It's like the collector boxes in Magic. I don't like those either. I don't like having a box where you are like, well, 6 months later we're going to make an intentionally inferior product. Like it's intentional. Like you are making this one this way and this one that way. And
yeah, it sounds silly, but it's like, all right, peasants, it's now your time. Come out and you can dive in. And even for those people diving in, they know going in like, but you're not getting stuff nearly as good as like what these people got
what they earlier got on the hill.
Yeah, so like No, I agree.
That's like a down the line thing. I don't think we have to worry about that. Alter Edition is going to come out. It's going to be super awesome. They announced the next set. I do not remember the name of it off the top of my head.
No, I saw the spoiler card. It's another. Damn it! It's one of the Knights of the Round. I think it's Lancelot. And when he comes out, he can hit like a truck. I'm trying to remember, but no, the art was really cool. He was like in the middle of a battlefield or something like that. No, I'm looking forward to that set. I'm also looking forward to events that are coming up. If you guys can ever come to Orlando, that would be fantastic. Come on, yeah.
And you know, if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, because we're gonna be doing this weekly.
Yes, weekly now for the for like uploading matches and stuff like that and deck lists.
A little infrequent, but it'll be happening.
We want to throw that in there.
Stick to this space for all things Grand Archive.
Yeah, and for all that like more detailed info, that's probably more when Altered Edition comes out, because right now I think people are just playing with whatever they got. We do have a good friend and customer and player, Andrew. He's the one running out, and he's like, $180 for Crusader Ring? Put me down. And I'm just like, I can't do that right now. Like, that's a bit out there. But he wants first edition stuff, so like, props to him. But like, no, I think when Alt Edition comes out, everyone will have a better chance at being able to more flexibility. Like I was telling AJ, I want to try out Merlin. I want to try like a more control-y deck with ice and water. But right now, like, I just don't have the rares for it. And if you come to the Haven Games, we have a bulk box. And right now there's a lot of cards that everyone's donated, but it's all commons. People are holding on to their uncommons and rares. Like,
the set's huge, and it's hard to get them.
Yeah. It's interesting seeing people open a pack, and even if they don't get a foil, they're like, what rare did I get? And they race to the back. But no, that's only like a few weeks away, so looking forward to that.
I'm really excited for OP for this game. Like, very excited. I think the OP system that they announced, the whole like League of Legends style like leaderboard, like bronze, silver, gold, platinum, challenger, diamond.
It's kind of cool to have like a little identifying thing with that.
And there's promos that come along with it based on like your ranking and everything too. Yeah. So I think that's really cool. I think it's gonna be fun. I think I'm gonna try to make Ascent Dallas. We have to see what other events and the money situation.
But, I was gonna say I think there's one coming up like in just a few weeks. I can't make that. There's
I think they're doing an anime convention, and I think it's more like a booth again.
Oh, all right.
I'm saying like Ascent Dallas is like I think it's their like first like how we would know as like a calling.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, so that's I think that's like months away though, right? Something like that. Like
May or June, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think I don't have to look again.
Which just another plead to you guys. When you do, like, I know you're going to be doing promo packs and there's silver and gold packs. This might be the distributor's fault or their responsibility, I should say. Please get them to stores on time. There's a few games we support, but like getting March promos in June does not feel good. It honestly pisses off the player base, and they yell at us, and then we kind of have to deal with it. If you can get March promos for the first week of March, that feels amazing, because people want the newest, promo products, and that's why they're coming out to locals other than playing. So that's just a big thing that I think you guys will get a lot of respect and admiration for staying on top of that.
Absolutely.
And
with that all being said, I think we're going to wrap up this first episode.
Yep.
What hopefully is a long and exciting series.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be bringing to you, like you said, gameplay. We'll do deck techs. We'll do a lot of good stuff. And if you guys are interested in Flesh and Blood, this is primarily a Flesh and Blood channel where this is being uploaded. So stick around for that too. But there's going to be a lot of Grand Archive. This is pretty much the two games we're interested in right now.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for it. And this will be a weekly episode thing. And we'll definitely have more content, all that other good stuff coming to you. So stay glued to this space.
And just give us feedback. We'll appreciate all that, and we'll try to reach you guys on Discord and all that. So,
all right, appreciate it.